The year is 1807. Global conflict continues to reshape nations as empires push their limits and new strategies redefine warfare. Trade routes become battlegrounds, alliances are tested, and political decisions carry consequences far beyond their borders. At the same time, movements against injustice begin to gain momentum, signaling shifts not only in power, but in moral and social consciousness. 1807 stands as a year of tension, transformation, and turning points. In this video, we'll explore the key events of 1807 and how they influence the course of history. January 7th. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland issues an order in council prohibiting British ships from trading with France or its allies. January 20th. The Sierra Leone Company, faced with bankruptcy because of the imminent abolition of the slave trade in British colonies, petitions the British government for purchase and transfer of its property to the Crown. Parliament approves the transfer on July 29th, and it takes effect on January 1st, 1808. February 3rd, Napoleonic Wars and Anglo-Spanish War, Battle of Montevideo. The British Army captures Montevideo from the Spanish Empire as part of the British invasions of the Rio de la Plata. February 7th, Napoleon leads the forces of the French Empire in an invasion of the Russian Empire and begins fighting at the Battle of Eylau against Russian and Prussian forces. February 8th, Battle of Eylau. Napoleon fights a hard but inconclusive battle against the Russians under Bennigsen. February 10th. The Survey of the Coast, renamed the United States Coast Survey in 1836 and the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey in 1878, is established. Work begins on August 3, 1816. February 17th. Henry Christopher is elected first president of the state of Haiti, ruling the northern part of the country. February 19th. Burr Conspiracy. In Alabama, former Vice President of the United States Aaron Burr is tried for conspiracy, but acquitted. February 23rd. The Slave Trade Act is passed in the House of Commons of the United Kingdom by an overwhelming majority. March 2nd. The United States Congress passes the act prohibiting importation of slaves into any port or place within the jurisdiction of the United States, from any foreign kingdom, place, or country, to take effect January 1st, 1808. March 25th. The United Kingdom Slave Trade Act becomes law abolishing the slave trade in most of the British Empire with effect from 1st May. Slavery itself is abolished in British colonies in 1833. The Swansea and Mumbles Railway in South Wales, at this time known as the Oystermouth Railway, becomes the first passenger-carrying railway in the world. March 29th. H.W. Olbers discovers the asteroid Vesta. April 4th to 12th. Froberg Mutiny. The British suppress a mutiny at Fort Ricasoli, Malta, by men of the irregularly recruited Froberg Regiment. April 14th. African Institution holds its first meeting in London. It is intended to improve social conditions in Sierra Leone. May 22nd. A grand jury indicts former Vice President of the United States Aaron Burr for treason. May 24th. Siege of Danzig ends after 6 weeks with Prussian and Russian defenders capitulating to French forces. May 29th. Selim III, Ottoman Emperor since 1789, is deposed in favor of his nephew Mustafa IV. May 31st. Primitive Methodism originates in an all-day of prayer at Mao Cop in the North Midlands of England. June 9th. The Duke of Portland is chosen as Prime Minister after the United Kingdom general election. June 10th. The Battle of Heilsberg ends in a draw. June 14th. Battle of Friedland. Napoleon decisively defeats Bennigsen's Russian army. June 22nd. Chesapeake Leopard Affair. British Royal Navy Fourth Rate. HMS Leopard attacks and boards United States Navy frigate USS Chesapeake off Norfolk, Virginia, seeking deserters. This act of British aggression plays a role in the run-up to the War of 1812. July 5th. A disastrous British attack is mounted against Buenos Aires during the second failed invasion of the Rio de la Plata, July 7th to 9th. The treaties of Tilsit are signed between France, Prussia, and Russia. Napoleon and Russian Emperor Alexander I ally together against the British. The Prussians are forced to cede more than half their territory, which is formed into the Duchy of Warsaw in their former Polish lands and the Kingdom of Westphalia in western Germany. The Free City of Danzig is also formed, established July 21st by Napoleon. July 13th. With the death of Henry Benedict Stuart, the last Stuart claimant to the throne of the United Kingdom, Jacobitism comes to an effective end. July 20th. Nicephore Niepce is awarded a patent by Emperor Napoleon for the Pireola 4, the world's first internal combustion engine, after it successfully powers a boat upstream on the River Saône in France. August 17th. The North River Steamboat, Robert Fulton's first American steamboat, leaves New York City for Albany on the Hudson River, inaugurating the first commercial steamboat service in the world. September 1st. Former U.S. Vice President Aaron Burr is acquitted of treason. He had been accused of plotting to annex parts of Louisiana and Mexico to become part of an independent republic. September 2 to 7. Battle of Copenhagen. The British Royal Navy bombards Copenhagen with fire bombs and phosphorus rockets to prevent the Dano-Norwegian Navy from surrendering to Napoleon. 30% of the city is destroyed, and 2,000 citizens are killed. September 7th. Robert Morrison, the first Protestant missionary to China, arrives in Guangzhou, Canton. September 13th. Beethoven's Mass in C major, Opus 86, is premiered, commissioned by Nicholas I, Prince Esterhazy, and displeasing him. September 27th. Napoleon purchases the Borghese art collection, including the Antinous Mondragone, and brings it to Paris. October 6th. English chemist Humphrey Davy electrochemically isolates potassium from potash. October 9th. Prussian reform movement. Serfdom is abolished by the October Edict. October 30, El Escorial conspiracy. Ferdinand, Prince of Asturias, is arrested for conspiring against his father, Charles IV of Spain. November 13th. The Geological Society of London is founded. November 24th. Battle of Abrantes, Portugal. The French, under Jean-Andoche Junot, take the town. November 29th. Portuguese Queen Maria I and the court embark at Lisbon, bound for Brazil. Rio de Janeiro becomes the Portuguese capital. December 5 to 11. Napoleonic Wars. Raid on Greece. A British Royal Navy squadron attacks the Dutch port of Greece on Java in the Dutch East Indies, eliminating the last Dutch naval force in the Pacific and concluding the Java Campaign of 1806 to 1807. December 17th. Napoleonic Wars. France issues the Milan Decree, which confirms the continental system. That is, no European country is to trade with the United Kingdom. December 22nd. The United States Congress passes the Embargo Act, a trade embargo on all foreign nations. Approximate date. Coup d'état of Pengiran Muda Omar Ali Saifuddin by Pengiran Digadong Ayah. Battle of Hingakaka between two factions of Maori people, the largest battle ever fought in New Zealand, and the last fought there without firearms. In 1807 or 1808 is fought the Battle of Morimonui, first of the Musket Wars. As 1807 comes to an end, the world stands deeply changed. Policies enacted, battles fought, and reforms introduced during this year will echo across continents for years to come. The events of 1807 remind us that history advances through both conflict and conviction, through ambition, resistance, and the pursuit of change. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more history content.